First, carefully cut out your heart template. Once your heart is cut out, set it aside and throw away your trash in the trash can. Then grab your slab of clay and carefully begin rolling it out. You want a nice even slab, no thicker or thinner than your pinky. If it's too thin, it's too brittle, and if it's too thick, it might crack. Then place your template over the clay and carefully cut it out using a needle tool. Save your scraps for later. After carefully smoothing out the edges with some water, grab something that you can use to add some texture to your heart. You can use anything you want here. I just grabbed a wooden stamp and I'm going to stamp away. One of the requirements for this project is adding an additive sculpture in the form of a flower. Now, an additive sculpture is just a really fancy way of saying adding a sculpture to an already existing sculpture. We're going to do this in the form of flowers, and I'll show you how to do it in the following steps of this video, and there's more detailed instructions on Google Classroom. Here's a lightning speed way to make a flower with petals. You're going to break your clay into little pieces, roll them into marble shapes, flatten them out with a rolling pin. You could even use the palm of your hand. Score and slip to attach the petals, and add details as you like. Again, this is a really fast version, and there is a much slower version detailing all the steps on Google Classroom if you are into this type of flower. A second option for a flower would be to make a rose. The rose is actually really simple to make, but the video is really long, so it is sped up a lot. If you're into making a rose, make sure to check out the slowed down version of this on Google Classroom. That'll walk you through the steps. It is super simple and it looks really cool. Once your flower or flowers are made, decide where you want them to go on your heart and figure out how best to attach them. Some of the flowers might need to be trimmed down so that everything fits nice and snug. Very important to score really well when you're adding your additive sculptures to the heart. You want a good amount of slip, don't be shy, and make sure everything is pressed down nice and tight so that nothing falls off in the kiln. Everything you add to the heart needs to be scored and slipped so that it will stick together. Once you're done adding your additive sculptures, add any final details. Use your water to smooth out any edges. When I say water, I don't mean your project should be dipping and drenched in water. Just use a little bit of water as needed to smooth out any of those crumbly edges that you might get while you're working. The very last thing is to poke holes in the top of your heart if you want the option to hang this up at home. This is totally optional. You don't have to do it. When you're finished, make sure your initials are on the back and take it to the drying rack.